Hello students, how are you all? I hope all of you are fine. I am Sasmita Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, Bengal School of Technology. Today we'll discuss the another part of chemical reaction of alkenes. In our earlier videos, already we have discussed about this part, the different kinds of chemical reaction of alkenes, basically the electrophilic addition reaction. So today is the next part of that video. So today we'll discuss the first reaction of the chemical reaction of alkenes. First reaction is addition of sulfuric acid, or this reaction is also called as hydration reaction. So what happens in this reaction, you just see alkenes react with sulfuric acid, forms alkyl hydrogen sulfates, which on subsequent hydrolysis produce alcohols. So according to our Markovnikov rule, what we have discussed in our earlier video, that according to Markovnikov rule, when an unsymmetrical alkene reacts with a reagent, the positive part of the reagent, it will be attached to the carbon bearing highest number of hydrogen across the carbon-carbon double bond. So see here in this reaction, first we will see propylene. When it interacts with sulfuric acid can be written as H plus O minus SO3H. So in this sulfuric acid, the H plus ion, it will be attached to the terminal carbon atom across the carbon-carbon double bond. So the resulting compound will be isopropyl hydrogen sulfate, which is a Markovnikov product. This Markovnikov product, again it undergoes hydrolysis. So after hydrolysis, it forms isopropyl alcohol with sulfuric acid. So here OSO3H, it becomes hydrolyzed to form OH. So the resulting compound will be isopropyl alcohol with sulfuric acid. The next reaction is alkylation reaction. What is alkylation reaction? In this reaction, alkenes, when react with alkanes in presence of sulfuric acid or hydrogen fluoride, forms isooctane. So here the alkane we are taking is isobutane and the alkene we have taken is isobutene. When both of them they interact with each other, the double bond it becomes saturated, forming a corresponding alkane. The resulting compound will be isooctane, or chemically it is called as 2,2,4 trimethyl pentane. So this is the second reaction. Then we'll go to the third reaction, that is oxidation with cold potassium permanganate solution, or it is also called as Bayer's test. This test is particularly used to test the presence of a double bond in alkene. So what happens in this reaction, you just see. In this reaction, alkenes, it reacts or it oxidizes in presence of cold dilute potassium permanganate solution, forms glycols. So what are glycols then? Glycols are the compounds whose molecules contain two OH groups on adjacent carbon, and the reaction looks like the addition of two OH groups of hydrogen peroxide to a double bond. So here CH2 double bond CH2, when it oxidizes in presence of cold dilute potassium permanganate solution, the OH group it will be attached to the carbon-carbon double bond, corresponding carbon-carbon double bond, forming ethylene glycol. Similarly, if we take another example, that is propylene, when it oxidizes itself in presence of cold dilute potassium permanganate solution, here also across the carbon-carbon double bond there will be attachment of two OH groups will be there. So it forms propylene glycol. So this is the reaction where alkenes it will be oxidized in presence of cold potassium permanganate solution. The next reaction is reaction or oxidation with hot potassium permanganate solution. What happens here? You just see alkenes, when it reacts with hot concentrated potassium permanganate solution, it splits into two parts, or it splits at the double bond to form ketones and or acids. So here first we will take the example of a lower alkene, we can say, that is propylene. When it oxidizes in presence of hot potassium permanganate solution, here it will form acetic acid, carbon dioxide and water. But if we take a higher alkene like 2-methyl 2-butene, when it oxidizes in presence of hot concentrated potassium permanganate solution, it will be splitted into two parts. So it is forming one ketone and another carboxylic acid, that is acetone, CH3 C double bond O CH3 plus CH3 COOH, acetic acid. Then next we will go to the next reaction, that is oxidation with ozone, or this reaction is also called as ozonolysis. So what is this one? Generally ozonolysis is occurred when ozone is passed through an alkene in an inert solvent. It adds across the double bond to form an ozonide, which is an explosive compound. So here you just see, students, here we are taking ethylene. You just see the reaction. Ethylene, when it reacts, or it is when ozone is passed through the alkene in an inert solvent, first there will be formation of a compound, that is ozonide will be there, which is an explosive compound. But when this ozonide, again it is warmed in presence of zinc and water, the ozonide, it clips or it breaks to form aldehydes, ketones, or an aldehyde and a ketone. So as we are taking here the lower alkene CH2 double bond CH2, first it is a two-step reaction. In the first reaction, that is when with the interaction with ozone, it is forming ozonide. Then after that ozonide, it is warmed in presence of zinc and water. It clips into two molecules. Here in case of ethylene, there will be formation of two formaldehyde will be there, HCHO, formaldehyde will be there. So the two-step process of preparing ozonide and then decomposing it to produce carbonyl compounds is called ozonolysis. So if we take a higher member of alkene group like 2-methyl 2-butene, first it interacts with ozone to form a ozonide. Then after that, when the ozonide, it is warmed with zinc and water, so it is forming a mixture of a, that is carbonyl compound, like one acetone, another acetaldehyde, CH3 C double bond O CH3 plus CH3 CHO. So this is the that is your ozonolysis reaction. The next will come to allylic substitution reaction. What is allylic substitution? Or it is the substitution of alkenes by halogens. So what happens here, you just see, when alkenes are treated with halogens like chlorine or bromine at high temperature, one of their allylic hydrogen is replaced by halogen atom. So which one is the allylic hydrogen here, or which one is the allylic position here? So allylic position is the carbon adjacent to one of the unsaturated carbon atom. That means what? Across the carbon-carbon double bond, the adjacent carbon to the carbon containing double bond is called the allylic carbon atom, and the hydrogen attached to this one is called as allylic hydrogen. So if we take the example of propene, the first terminal carbon is the allylic carbon atom. So when it reacts with halogen in presence of or at a high temperature, that is 500 degrees centigrade, so here the hydrogen of the carbon will be replaced by one halogen, so forming Cl CH2 CH double bond CH2, or the name of this compound is, or product is, allyl chloride, or chemically it is called as 3-chloro-1-propene along with HCl. So this kind of reaction is called the allylic substitution reaction. So this is all about the different kind of the electrophilic addition reaction. Next we will go to The substitution reaction. So basically the substitution reaction are classified into two parts. One is nucleophilic substitution reaction, another is electrophilic substitution reaction. So here we will discuss about the nucleophilic substitution reaction. So what is this one? When a substitution reaction involves the attack by a nucleophile, the reaction is called nucleophilic substitution reaction, which is represented by the symbol SN, where S stands for substitution and N stands for a nucleophile. So for example, here we can take the example of the hydrolysis of alkyl halides by aqueous sodium hydroxide. So here alkyl halide RX, when it reacts with a nucleophile, you can say OH minus. So here the halogen will be replaced by the nucleophile. So here it is forming ROH plus X minus. So here X minus is the leaving group. So we can classify the nucleophilic substitution reaction into two types. One is SN2 reaction and SN1 reaction. So first we will discuss about SN2 reaction. What is this one? SN2 reaction means it stands for biomolecular nucleophilic substitution. That means what? When the rate of a reaction, you just see here one, that is one equation is there. When the rate of a chemical reaction or nucleophilic substitution reaction depends upon the concentration of both the substrate and nucleophile, the reaction is of second order and is represented as SN2 reaction. So what happens here? Here the rate of the reaction, it depends upon the, or it is directly proportional to the concentration of substrate as well as nucleophile. So here we have taken the example of methyl bromide. After that, attacking by the nucleophile, it is forming a transition state, and after that there will be removal of bromine group, so it forms methyl alcohol. So what happens here? Consider the hydrolysis of methyl bromide by aqueous sodium hydroxide. So here what happens? Generally the hydroxide ion, it approaches the substrate carbon from the side opposite the bromine atom. So here carbon atom is the substrate molecule and OH minus is the nucleophile. So it approaches or it attacks the substrate carbon just opposite side of the bromine atom. This is because both the hydroxide ion and the bromine atom are electron rich. It is natural that these stay as far apart as possible due to the like charges. Okay, the transition state may be pictured as a structure in which both OH and Br are partially bonded to the substrate carbon, and also the carbon bromine bond, it is not completely cleaved, and COH bond is not completely formed. So here what happens? Hydroxide ion has a decreased negative charge because it has started to share its electrons with the substrate carbon, and the bromine atom carries a negative charge because it has started removing its shared pair of electrons from the carbon atom. So see here what happens in the transition state, both OH and Br are partially bonded to the substrate carbon. So in state, the three carbon hydrogen bonds, they lie in one plane, and the COH and CBr bonds are perpendicular to the plane of carbon hydrogen bonds. So what happens, students, here? The energy needed for the cleavage of CBr bond is partially provided by the energy liberated by the COH bond formation. So due to this mechanism, the reaction, the configuration of carbon is inverted. So this inversion is called as Walden inversion. So see here in this reaction, here see methyl bromide, here I told you that here carbon is the substrate molecule, OH minus is the nucleophile. So when it attacks the carbon atom, see in this transition state both, so see here OH, it attacks the carbon atom just opposite to bromine atom because both are negatively charged. Okay, due to same charge they repel each other. So after that in the transition state, the OH and Br, they are partially bonded to the middle carbon atom. Neither OH is strongly bonded to this one, neither bromine atom. Both are partially bonded to the middle carbon atom in the transition state. And finally, after the reaction, the bromine atom or C-Br bond will break and there will be formation of the new bond C-OH bond formation. So, in the transition state, what happens? The C-H bonds, they are in one plane, and OH-C-OH bond and C-Br bond are just perpendicular to the plane of the C carbon hydrogen bond. And after the formation of the removal of the bromine atom from the carbon atom, there will be formation of a new compound, that is methyl alcohol. So, this inversion is called as Walden inversion. Next we will go to SN1 reaction. What is this one? It stands for unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. So, what happens here? When the rate of a nucleophilic substitution reaction depends upon the concentration of the substrate only, the reaction is of first order and represented as SN1 reaction. So, see here, rate of the reaction is directly proportional to, or it depends upon the concentration of the substrate. So, here we can take the example of hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide, which involves two steps. This is a two-step reaction. In the first step, what happens? The alkyl halide or tertiary butyl bromide, it ionizes to give the carbonium ion, which is the rate determining step. The carbonium ion is a planar structure because the central carbon atom is positively charged and sp2 hybridized. All of you know that the middle carbon is sp2 hybridized. So, what happens here? Tertiary butyl bromide, when it undergoes the reaction, the bromine atom, it will be detached from the carbon atom, resulting in the formation of a positively charged carbon. The name of this one is carbonium ion, and this carbonium ion, it is a planar structure as the central carbon atom is positively charged and the hybridization is of sp2 hybridization. Then in the next slide, the second step, here the nucleophile. So, what is the nucleophile? It can attack the planar carbonium ion from either side to give tertiary butyl alcohol. So, here the nucleophile is OH minus. It attacks the positively charged or centrally placed carbon atom from both the sides to give tertiary. So, there will be formation of a new bond will be there, COH bond. So, the formation of tertiary butyl alcohol will be there. So, from all of this reaction or the mechanism of this reaction, we can conclude that the primary alkyl halide, that is methyl bromide, it undergoes hydrolysis by SN2 mechanism. Tertiary alkyl halide, it undergoes hydrolysis by SN1 mechanism, but the secondary alkyl halide, it undergoes hydrolysis either by SN1 or SN2 mechanism of reaction. So, in this reaction, the centrally the positively charged carbon atom or the carbonium ion, it will be attacked by the nucleophile from both the sides, resulting in the formation of a new COH bond and the formation of tertiary butyl alcohol will be there. So, students, this is for today's class. So, this is all about the substitution reaction. In the next class or the next video, we will discuss about the next part of your that is the reaction of alkenes. So, if you have any queries, just go through these slides, and if you have any queries, you can share it through mail. So, okay, thank you.